in Rhineville, Kentucky. Amidst the gently rolling hills and peaceful community surrounding Fort Knox, Ashley Williams and Jordan Henning seemed to have it all: two respected military personnel, a close-knit family, and a spacious home, a portrait of the American dream. But behind the doors filled with the laughter of children, there were cracks that were difficult to mend: marital tensions, arguments, and an ever-widening gap between the two. Then, on a summer night in June, after friends had left following a birthday celebration, the unthinkable happened, sending shivers through the entire neighborhood. Ashley, a woman seasoned by battlefields, was forced to seek help from neighbors, terrified of the husband she lived with. What caused a family once regarded as the model military family to descend into tragedy? And how did a peaceful setting erupt into a horrific tragedy of gunfire within the very home they called their sanctuary? Rhineville, Kentucky, is a small community in Hardin County, about a 20-minute drive from Fort Knox. It is a family-friendly, tight-knit, and welcoming place, with a strong military presence shaping the local culture. In this tranquil setting, Ashley Williams emerged as a quintessential example of success and resilience. Born in June 1986, she possessed extraordinary courage. She had served in Iraq and Afghanistan, the most dangerous battlefields, and was always ready to face any challenge. Beyond that, she was a woman with an innate leadership spirit, always taking charge in every situation, from leading her fellow soldiers in the military to organizing family activities. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Ashley was her deep empathy. She always put her family and loved ones first, ready to sacrifice to protect them. In Ashley's mind, family was the center of everything. She believed that love and stability were the foundation for building a happy life. With two sons from her first marriage, Ashley always strove to create a safe and loving environment for them. And then, fate arranged for Ashley to meet a man named Jordan Henning. Jordan Henning was born in June 1990. As an adult, he chose a military path and quickly rose to the rank of sergeant, stationed at Fort Knox, a place regarded as a symbol of iron discipline and the spirit of the U.S. Army. In the eyes of his peers and superiors, Jordan always projected the image of an exemplary soldier, meticulous in every fold of his uniform, punctual in every training session, and absolutely obedient to all orders. He was almost the embodiment of discipline, the kind of model soldier any unit would want in its ranks. When Ashley and Jordan met, both were going through personal upheavals. She was raising two sons after a divorce, while he was also in the process of a divorce and had two daughters. This shared circumstance quickly created a bond between them. In May 2016, they married and moved into a spacious 3,000-square-foot home in Rhineville. From the outside, it seemed like a success story of a happy military family. But the marriage between Ashley and Jordan carried underlying conflicts from the very beginning. On the surface, they were the perfect couple. Both were accomplished military personnel, each with children from previous marriages, and both aspired to build a happy family. But in reality, from the early months of living together, differences in personality and perspectives on life began to surface. Ashley, with her strong leadership nature, often made decisions for the family without consulting Jordan. In her mind, this was entirely normal. She was accustomed to taking responsibility and making quick decisions in the military, and while raising her two sons alone. However, for Jordan, each instance of Ashley overstepping was a blow to his pride. The biggest issue in their household was raising and managing their four children, Ashley's two sons and Jordan's two daughters. Ashley adhered to a democratic parenting style, encouraging the children to express their opinions and participate in family decisions. In contrast, Jordan believed in strict discipline, especially with his daughters. Arguments often erupted when Ashley defended Jordan's daughters from punishments she deemed too harsh, or when Jordan felt Ashley's sons were spoiled excessively. Each time, Jordan felt that Ashley undermined his authority in front of the children, something he could not tolerate. Over time, Jordan began to exhibit increasingly controlling behaviors. He started interfering with how Ashley applied makeup, chose her clothing, and even how she interacted with male colleagues in the military. When Ashley objected, Jordan often used emotionally manipulative language, accusing her of not caring about her husband's feelings or not respecting the role of the man in the family. Ashley, with her strong personality, could initially confront Jordan directly, but gradually. She realized that each argument made the household atmosphere more tense, affecting the children. She began to yield on minor issues, hoping this would help the family find harmony. Not long after their marriage, Ashley started noticing unusual signs in Jordan's behavior. He frequently stayed up late on the computer, always hiding the screen when she passed by, and his phone was always password protected when Ashley asked. Jordan always had reasonable explanations: military work, contacting old friends, or harmless recreational activities. But Ashley, with the experience and intuition of a seasoned female soldier, sensed something was amiss. She began paying attention to small details. Jordan frequently cleared his browser history. He had secretive phone calls when he thought she couldn't hear, and there were even times he lied about his whereabouts on certain evenings. The marital relationship between Ashley and Jordan also faced serious difficulties. Jordan began testosterone replacement therapy, claiming it was to improve his health and energy. However, instead of improving their relationship, this seemed to make Jordan more aggressive and unpredictable. Ashley often felt like she was living with two different Jordans, one during the day, relatively normal and communicative, and one at night, distant and full of suspicion. She began to fear for the future of their family and the safety of their children. In the final months of 2022 and early 2023, the situation in the Henning household became more tense than ever. Arguments no longer happened weekly, but sometimes daily. Jordan grew increasingly irritated with any decision Ashley made, even trivial matters like grocery shopping or arranging the children's schedules. Ashley began to feel like she was walking on a tightrope. Every action, every word could become the cause of a new argument. She started avoiding sensitive topics, but it seemed Jordan always found a reason to be dissatisfied. In the weeks leading up to Ashley's birthday, some of her close friends noticed concerning changes. Ashley, once always bright and full of energy, began to appear tired and anxious. She frequently checked her phone and seemed constantly on edge. When asked, Ashley always said everything was fine, just the pressures of work and caring for 4 children, but those close to her could sense something deeper was happening. Jimmy Watts, a neighbor close to both Ashley and Jordan, later recounted that he had heard arguments coming from their house multiple times, especially on weekend evenings. However, out of respect for their privacy and believing these were just normal marital conflicts, Jimmy did not intervene. The decision to hold a birthday party at their home on June 26, 2023, became the straw that broke the camel's back, an occasion Ashley hoped would bring the family closer together, but which ultimately became the backdrop for the most horrific tragedy. June 26, 2023 began with high hopes. Ashley Williams. Henning turned 37, and on the advice of a close friend, she decided to host a birthday party at their home in Rhineyville. It was an opportunity for the couple to set aside recent conflicts and create happy memories with family and friends. The Kentucky summer afternoon unfolded in a joyful and relaxed atmosphere. The backyard of the Henning home was filled with the laughter and chatter of friends, neighbors, and family. The children ran around a slip-and-slide water slide that Ashley and Jordan had specially set up for the occasion. The sounds of splashing water, the joyful screams of children, and the lively conversations of adults painted the picture of a perfect birthday party. Ashley, in a bright summer dress, moved among the groups of guests with a radiant smile. She attended to everyone with care, ensuring everyone had food, drinks, and felt welcomed. Jordan also joined in the festive mood, chatting with buddies and helping with the grilling. However, those who observed closely could notice subtle signs of tension. Occasionally, Jordan's eyes betrayed irritation when Ashley made decisions without consulting him. Each time Ashley interacted too warmly with male guests, Jordan watched with a displeased expression. As the sun began to set and guests started to leave, the cleanup began. This was when the underlying tensions of the day finally erupted. The issue stemmed from something seemingly trivial. Their 8-year-old son couldn't detach the hose from the water slide. Ashley, with her protective maternal instinct, quickly stepped in to help the boy. However, This violated a prior agreement between her and Jordan that he would handle technical issues in the house. For Jordan, this was not just Ashley overstepping, but also undermining his authority in front of the children. "Why did you interfere? I said I'd handle it," Jordan said in a stern tone. "He just needed help," Ashley replied, unaware of the level of anger rising in Jordan. What started as a minor disagreement quickly escalated into a fierce argument. Jordan accused Ashley of always disregarding him and not respecting his role in the family. Ashley, exhausted by these constant accusations, began to retort sharply. According to Jordan's later testimony, during the argument, Ashley grabbed and hit him. However, witnesses present at the scene, including Jimmy Watts, described a completely different situation. They saw Jordan as the one acting aggressively and threateningly, while Ashley seemed to be trying to protect herself, sensing the severity of the situation. Ashley instructed one of her sons to run to a neighbor's house for help. This was the first time she had to do this, indicating the genuine fear she was experiencing. This time, "Mommy is really scared," she told the child. Jimmy Watts, Jordan's close friend and their nearest neighbor, received the distress call and quickly rushed to the Henning home. Upon entering, Jimmy witnessed an unprecedentedly tense scene. Jordan and Ashley were arguing fiercely, with Jordan appearing completely out of control. Jimmy tried to mediate, urging both to calm down, however, instead of listening. Jordan turned to threaten Jimmy. In a shocking moment, Jordan even put Jimmy in a chokehold and demanded he leave the house, fearing for his own safety and realizing the situation was spiraling out of control. Jimmy left and immediately called 911 to report a domestic violence incident. After Jimmy left, only Jordan, Ashley, and their 13-year-old daughter remained in the house. No one can know exactly what transpired in those critical minutes, except for what was captured by the home's surveillance camera. The video showed Jordan acting with apparent calm and intent. He walked to where the gun was stored, retrieved it, and loaded it deliberately. This was not the action of someone in an emotionally uncontrolled state, but of someone executing a calculated plan. Gunshots rang out in the quiet summer evening air of Rhineyville. Ashley Williams Henning, the vibrant 37-year-old woman, mother of 3, and brave soldier who had served her country in distant battlefields, fell on the floor of her own home. Their 13-year-old daughter, an innocent child who witnessed the entire horrific event, would carry this traumatic image for the rest of her life. After the gunshots, the neighborhood fell into a deathly silence. Jordan was recorded by the camera leaving the scene in a white sedan, leaving behind an irreparable tragedy and a family shattered forever. Jimmy Watts, who had made the first 911 call, returned to the house and found Ashley lying motionless on the floor. A second 911 call was made, this time not to report domestic violence, but a murder. Jimmy Watts' second 911 call triggered a swift response from authorities. Within less than 10 minutes, Hardin County Police arrived at the scene. They found Ashley Williams Henning lying motionless on the floor. Shot multiple times, all attempts to revive her were futile. Ashley had died at the scene. The scene was immediately sealed off. Forensic experts and the crime investigation team were quickly deployed to collect evidence. The couple's 13-year-old daughter, the only surviving witness to the incident, was in a state of shock and was immediately taken for medical care. Meanwhile, a large-scale manhunt was launched to find Jordan Henning. Based on Jimmy Watts' description of the white sedan, police issued an urgent wanted notice. Checkpoints were set up on all major roads leading out of Hardin County. Jordan didn't get far. About 90 minutes after the incident, he was found by police just a mile from the house, sitting in his car with a dazed expression. When police approached, Jordan offered no resistance. Instead, he repeatedly apologized and even begged the police to kill him. "I did it. I killed her. Please kill me," Jordan was quoted as saying to the arresting officers. These words were recorded and later became critical evidence in the trial. The investigation at the scene uncovered key evidence, particularly the Henning home's surveillance camera system. The video not only captured the entire process of Jordan retrieving the gun, loading it, and shooting Ashley, but also showed his actions afterward. Particularly shocking in the video was that after shooting his wife, Jordan spat on Ashley's body. This act demonstrated a deep-seated hatred and malice, completely contradicting any claims of losing emotional control. Jimmy Watts, as the most critical witness, provided detailed testimony about what he saw before and during the incident. His account described Jordan as threatening and violent, entirely different from the victim image Jordan later tried to construct. The couple's 13-year-old daughter, despite being in severe psychological trauma, provided crucial information about the relationship between her stepfather and mother. Her testimony was carefully collected with the assistance of child psychology experts. During the investigation, Ashley's family provided significant information about Jordan's double life. They revealed that witnesses knew about Jordan's secret activities on BDSM websites, particularly FetLife, and unofficial relationships he had hidden from Ashley. However, what was concerning was that this information seemed to have been overlooked or not thoroughly investigated by the police. Ashley's family later alleged that this oversight in the investigation might have missed a critical motive for the crime. The day after the incident, Jordan Henning was officially charged with first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty and was held on a $1 million bond. The high bond amount reflected the severity of the charge and the risk that he might flee. The investigation continued for months, with detailed analysis of physical evidence, witness testimonies, and especially the surveillance video. Every detail was meticulously examined to build a solid case for trial. The trial of Jordan Henning officially began on March 12, 2025, nearly 2 years after the horrific tragedy in Rhineyville. The courtroom was packed with Ashley's family, friends, colleagues, and the local community. All eyes were on Jordan Henning, the man sitting at the defendant's table with a dazed expression and averted gaze. Jordan's defense team chose a bold and controversial strategy. They did not deny that Jordan killed Ashley, instead focusing on proving that his actions were carried out in a state of extreme emotional disturbance (EED). Under Kentucky law, if the jury believed the defendant acted under EED, the charge of first-degree murder could be reduced to first-degree manslaughter, carrying a significantly lighter sentence. This was Jordan's only chance to avoid a life sentence. The defense argued that Jordan had been mentally and physically abused by Ashley for a long time. They portrayed him as a victim of domestic violence who had endured mounting pressure and stress, leading to a moment of complete emotional loss of control. When called to testify on his own behalf, Jordan Henning presented a story entirely different from what witnesses had seen. He claimed that Ashley was the violent one, frequently hitting, biting, and kicking him when angry. Ashley always controlled everything in the house, Jordan testified with a trembling voice. She didn't give me a say in raising the kids, always humiliated me in front of them. And when I objected, she would attack me. Jordan described the day of the incident as the final straw in an oppressive relationship. He claimed that when Ashley grabbed and hit him over the waterslide issue, he completely lost control and couldn't clearly recall what happened next. I just remember being so angry, so hurt, and then everything became a blur, Jordan testified. When I came to, Ashley was dead. However, the prosecution team had a powerful weapon, the home surveillance video, when the video was played in the courtroom. The atmosphere became eerily silent. Everyone witnessed a Jordan completely different from the victim he tried to portray. The video showed Jordan acting with complete calm and intent after arguing with Ashley. He walked to the gun cabinet with steady steps, showing no signs of losing control. He opened the cabinet, took out the gun, and loaded it deliberately. Particularly shocking was that when the gun jammed after the first shot, Jordan calmly fixed it and continued firing multiple shots at Ashley. This was clearly not the action of someone in a state of extreme emotional disturbance, but of someone executing a calculated murder. The most shocking part of the video was the moment Jordan, after shooting his wife dead, stood beside Ashley's body and spat on her. This act demonstrated a profound level of hatred and malice, completely contradicting his claims of losing emotional control. Prosecutor Adam Wilson emphasized, "This is not the action of someone in a state of emotional disturbance. This is the action of a ruthless killer, full of hatred and malice." The prosecution not only debunked Jordan's testimony, but also proposed an entirely different motive for the murder. They argued that Jordan intentionally killed Ashley to prevent her from exposing his double life his secret activities on BDSM websites like FetLife and the extramarital relationships he had concealed. The prosecution argued that Ashley had discovered these secrets and threatened to reveal them, which could severely damage Jordan's military career. For a man who valued his image and reputation like Jordan, this was an unacceptable threat. The defendant killed his wife not because he lost control, but because he wanted to silence her forever. The prosecutor declared. The trial also heard testimony from several key witnesses. Jimmy Watts described Jordan as someone with controlling and violent tendencies, completely at odds with the victim image he tried to create. Another neighbor testified that Jordan had once mentioned having a top 10 threat list and would eliminate those who became obstacles to him. Ashley's close friends spoke of the change in her personality in her final months from a confident, strong woman to someone anxious and fearful. After days of reviewing evidence and testimonies, the jury delivered a surprising verdict. They did not fully accept Jordan's EED defense, but also did not convict him of the most severe charge. Instead, they found Jordan guilty of first-degree manslaughter rather than first-degree murder. This verdict suggested that while the jury did not believe Jordan's story of being abused by Ashley, they had some doubt about the level of intent in his actions, or perhaps were influenced by the defense's skillful legal strategy. This case revealed a profound contradiction between the jury's verdict and the judge's subsequent ruling. The jury found a way to lessen the charge, indicating they accepted Jordan's extreme emotional disturbance defense to some extent. In contrast, the judge, after reviewing the entire record, including the video and testimonies, saw a clear act of malice and aggression and publicly rejected all of Jordan's victim claims, stating, "I absolutely do not believe you." This suggests the jury's verdict was the result of a successful legal strategy rather than a clear interpretation of the events and evidence. It also highlights the emotional and psychological complexities of domestic violence cases, where a defendant's unverified victim claims can still sway a jury and lead to a less severe sentence. This case stands as a powerful testament to the limitations of the legal system and the lasting harm caused by a hidden motive driven solely by personal gain.